horizontal. How you deal with the people upwards, how you deal with the people in this level. We are taught that from book. How to respect your parents, how to respect your grandparents, and all those who are your mother's age, your father's age, all of them are your mother and your fathers. Do you hear that? And they are talked to with respect. You love them, you care for them. Yeah? You don't sit when they are standing. Yeah? This is very, very important. Respect. You don't talk to your mother as your equal. And I am sure here, sometimes I hear and I am surprised. Your mother is a very, very important person. Your father is a very important person. You need to treat him. You need to talk to him without respect. There is something else called politeness. Do you know what politeness means? Being polite? Yes.
Oh, yeah, when you're you use thank you.
Very good. Thank you. Yeah? To value hard work, to value loving, value accepting other people, value treating other people with dignity, with integrity, and you hold yourself.
Culture, how you gonna explain that? And the more you don't utilize it now, you lose something. So if you don't utilize the language at home, or if you don't want to eat Kenyan food, you don't want to interact with Kenyans, soon and very soon you don't know anything about being Kenyan, even though your blood and your heritage is Kenyan. Like I have a lot of African American friends who wish that they knew like where they came from. They try to do the ancestry.com, trying to figure out what tribes they came from, but they still don't have, they don't know where the original roots are. And if you keep doing that, like trying to ignore being Kenyan now, as soon as Jake was saying 20 years from now, you won't have anything to talk to your kids, or let's say your nephews and nieces, you won't have anything to describe to them about being Kenyan, and you won't even have anything to be proud.
We as women, the home is ours. I grew up feminist for as long as I could remember, more power to me. I'm not going to do this for a man. I'm going to be my own woman. It doesn't work. At the end of the day, I feed my husband a separate meal because he's vegetarian. So I do 2 meals in my house. He doesn't cook, and he chose to be vegetarian. So I'm cooking 2 different meals, and I have pride in cooking. So it's complicated. Because yes, I want to be feminist. But then I realize if I don't hold my home together, it falls apart. So unfortunately, just the way the world was created, it has nothing to do with male, female. We have that feminine, caring, nurturing nature. It's not going to go away. It doesn't change. If my house is dirty, guess what? I wake up in the morning, I look around, I'm going to clean it.
About being Kenyan. So it starts with the little things. It's just like, so when your mom is cooking, ask her, oh, what are you making? If she don't know what is you got, ask, how do you make that? Like, just be interested in learning more about it, and that goes a long way. Then you'd be like, if it's a song that she's listening to, and it's in Kikuyu, ask your parents, ask your sister in the house. They're all very interested to pass that knowledge to you. But when you don't seem interested, when you go home and all you want to speak is English, all you want to eat is American food, all you want to listen to is American music and everything, soon and very soon you lose it. So just, I would say, be curious, be interested. And one of the things that has helped me a lot is, like, I know my family speak, like, our Kikuyu at home. We try to speak Kikuyu and English, but it's usually, my mom speaks us in Kikuyu, and we try to respond to that. So that helps a lot, because like 70 or 80% of your time you're with your friends or you're at school. So you're speaking English. So try to utilize that time at home to speak either, let's say, if you speak Kikuyu, if you speak Swahili, or if you want to just do a mix of both. If your shows come to visit, try to tell them, teach me. And then if you see like shows out there, just be like, oh, how do you say this word? And be all interested to teach you. So I would say just stay curious, stay interested, and just try to practice your culture every day.
nĩtwĩgwateire kũndũ gũkũ nĩgetha tũikare maica mega githĩ tiguo nona twaikara maica mega tũtikariganĩrwo nĩ gĩkũyũ mwathiĩ cukuru mũkanjia
Come here, be proud to be an American, and enjoy the life that you have here, but do not forget your roots.
mwaigua atĩ muoka gwitũ nĩtũrakenerera ndaiguaga cũcũ nĩgoka no kararia gĩkũyũ twana ndĩreka atĩ gĩtiguo mũirũ twaikaraga
She's saying, this is me who's come home, and then I can't talk to her because all she speaks is English, and I'm speaking in Kikuyu. So Grandma is saying, when Wendy comes home, she wants that interaction. She wants those few words to come from her. Then she's also giving an example. She used Kalenjin and Maasai for people that never forget their language. So she says that when the Maasai come to Nairobi, which is where everybody congregates, they speak their own language. They go back, they speak their own language. Now, I'm going to give you an example here. We have the Filipinos, we have the Chinese. They speak Chinese. I mean, from when they're little, they don't forget their language. Now, where Grandma is saying we're falling short is that we let you guys not speak the language. So we have no connection when we get back home. But she's saying all these other people are keeping their traditions. They are holding tight to them. Because I know you don't know the Maasai and the Kalenjin, what she's talking about. You know the Chinese. You know those guys.
The Hispanic too. The Hispanic.
And the Hispanic, right. They get in the car and the language switches off from English, it turns into Hispanic or into Chinese or whatever it is, or Filipino. They don't budge their culture. They make sure that their kids grow without culture. So what Grandma is saying, she needs us to retain it. She wants you guys to feel pride in speaking Kikuyu. So that when you go home, you sit with Grandma and you don't need your parents there as translators. You don't need a cousin to come in to sit in between you and Grandma. So that when she says, you can say it right back. You can say it right back to her without what she said. So that's what Grandma is trying to say. You're going to get to Kenya at some point, and you're going to get to be in Gishagi with the family that just doesn't speak the English that you speak. And then your accent is too complicated. There's just always something that they're saying, we can't understand you. You're saying, we can't understand them. So if you have one language, how much easier does it get? So Grandma's saying, don't lose it. Don't lose.
ũgatuonia atĩa, ũgatũrugĩra atĩa, ũgekagĩra ngima maĩ matarĩ matherũku ũgekĩra mũtu waruga ĩhĩaga no nginya weterere maĩ matherũke nĩgetha wĩkĩre kĩ mũtu ũhote kũruga ũkahe mũthuri waku kĩndũ kĩega mũthuri nĩagakũhikia kuonie kũruga kuoguo mũmenye mwana wa kairĩtu arutagira mĩtugo he nyina agathiĩ riko mami akĩruga akona ũrĩa araruga agathiga tũwaru tũkarangagwo ũũ tũtiĩkagĩrwo maĩ maingĩ turugagwo ũũ.
So she talked about dress. She talked about the way we dress. At a certain age, we understand what we understand and we think we know, right? So we dress the way we think is cool, which what Grandma is saying, if it's cool and it's not presentable, it is really not that cool. It's only cool for a short time among your friends, but the image that you're projecting is what she's saying. She says she's a great grandmother. So she says she looks good. She showed you the way she's dressed. She says she's put together. And there's nothing wrong, when we look at her, there's nothing wrong with her from head to toe, right? She has nothing. If we looked at her, we call her grandma, and we call her grandma respectfully. There's nothing, she's not trying to dress down, she's not trying to dress not her age. So she's saying, when you look at yourself, how responsible are you going to be? Are you going to wear really short skirts? Now, don't get me wrong, the clothing thing is a little difficult for me because it's touching age thing. But it's all about responsibility. It really is. So what Grandma is saying, know yourself. Inside, who you carry yourself to be is what matters. And that's what Jeffrey was talking to you guys about before. You have to know who you are. If you don't know who you are, you get carried away by the trends. It might not bother anybody else. Now, girls were taught by their mothers. Everything I learned to cook, I learned from her. I still call her in Kenya and I'll say, I got yams. What am I supposed to do with them? Because I don't know. Because when I was in her house, I was like, I'm not eating yams. I don't like them. I don't like the way they smell. They look funny. But then now I'm in the house. My husband's vegetarian. I need to feed him. So what do? I call my mom in Kenya and I'm like, Mom, what do we do with the yams? So your age is that my son's going to come to the kitchen and toss his cup in the sink. That's what she said. Ain't no child here that cannot wash a cup.
True.
You can wash it. This is something that you learn to do. It's not a problem. You don't have to do everybody's dishes. Do your dishes, carry your weight in the house. She's just...
Ndio nakwambia kufanya nguo hapa hapana, ndio desturi yetu. Ni kama ile ukiweka mboga hakuna nguo, si ni mbaya? Tukafanya mzuri. Ukikaa hata kwa nyumba kitu yako mtakaa wanaume mbili kwa nyumba. Utakaa wanaume kwa nyumba wawili. Ati mwambie wewe kaa na yako, sivyo? Ukikaa na yako Mungu akikupatia baraka zako atakupatia wewe kando. Hapana kusema hii ni my sister. Hapana kupatia nyinyi wawili. Kila mtu kana baraka yake.
So what happens, like obviously at school when you like move here, you're obviously different from everybody else and you need to like work a lot harder for you to like catch up and even be better because you know like there's so many stereotypes around here about people from Africa. We do have to like step up and just have that spirit for yes, I came here for this because I know most of our parents came here for us to have a better life, right? So like never forget where you come from. You're from Kenya, you're living in St. Louis, and you have those opportunities just the same as everybody else, and you should stay true to yourself and stick to them and be better and achieve higher because let me tell you, it feels so good.
Saying it so that you can hear it. Be better, and you totally be better. She's saying be better than her mom. She wants to climb higher than her mom did. Not in a bit. It's not negative. It's not negative. It's actually a very powerful thing that you're saying. It's like there's so much to strive for, and you can see what your parents have done for you. So you're going higher than where they've gotten to, and they're probably done any of your achievements. But the better you do, the better she does. makes her accomplishments all the more. So when she flourishes, her mom bursts with pride. It's not an evil.
Or God, men were supposed to lead the way, women and children to follow. Are you listening to me, Moaki? They were supposed to lead the way, women and children to follow. I'll give you now what you call the rite of passage. The rite of passage begins with the children. As a child, you are the same. Boys and girls are the same. They are treated the same, expectation is the same. Then you get to Maggie's age. Come here, Maggie. Being now a boy who actually don't want to make it with his mother. In our culture, when you know, you are from when you talk, probably your mother, from something up 3 years, you are taken to your father. You live with your father. So your father will tell you how to be a man. Yeah, how to be a man. So I walk with him, show him what men do, show him what men say, or tell him how men speak to women, how men speak to older women, to younger women, how he treats. So I'll teach him all that. And now he doesn't want to work with me because he's going to go into the third stage. And the third stage is called the rite of passage. The rite of passage is when he gets circumcised. Yeah? When he gets circumcised, then he becomes a young man. And he goes and belongs to other young men of the society. What does that mean? What is an anchor? Okay. And, it means protectors of the community. No, they are brave, they are not, because of what circumcised, then you are fearless. You can face the rivals. Their mothers, but they are expected now to be people who are being prepared to have their own sometimes later, because they have gone through the rite of passage. The second, the fourth rite of passage is for them to get married. I'm not talking about this one. They have not come to this, they are progressing.
Yes.
This girl. You got to being respectful, is being hardworking, is being caring, is being generous, productive.
Yeah, and we're still talking just.
It's coming to you because you are a respectable person. Yeah. In Africa, men, it was anathema for men to be lazy. We are talking about equality of persons. We are talking about a man who knows how to cook, a man who knows how to wash his clothes, a man who knows how to make his bed, a man who knows how to clean utensils, because there was that time we are talking about women stayed at home. But today women go to work and the men go to work too. So who is going to be cooking? pushing for the other. It is where you agree that I can do this and you do this, we can help each other. That is where we find people to be together amicably, harmoniously. But when we expect one thing from one side of the person more than the other, it doesn't work anymore these days. It doesn't. So girls are looking for a man who is not going to be, we go back there. They are looking for a man who is not going to be a burden.
So we are talking about chapati. You are lucky you can get the mixed dough from the supermarket, but the best to do is the one you make yourself. Learn how to do it. I don't know whether they still have that in the YouTube, but I think how to do it yourself. I like cooking. I like how to cook because I like knowing what I'm eating. If you from family level, you continue being generous. So we start something they call the family altar. That people sit down and we decide what to do with the family. You sit with your parents, you say, okay, this year we need to take our vacation. Then you give your needs on this table where you are discussing your movement. And when you give your needs, of course you will say we can't afford this, we can't afford this. At the end of the day, you have one or two items that you'll be able to do without making anything else suffer. And this one or two things is what you do. And you know, in our family altars, we also include eventualities. Something that might come. If someone died in this village, what could we support the family? If someone got very sick,